This video about increasing strength and size of muscles. Part 1. High volume versus high intensity exercises. Bodybuilders consider a few strategies to grow muscle in size, that is to get muscular hypertrophy. First, an athlete may go to the high repetition in range of 20 to 30 of the resistant exercise and with low weight or load till a failure to go on because of tiredness and full aching in the muscles. Number of the sets during one day of training may be from 3 to 10, with longer than 5-minute time between the sets to rest. Weight or load in this case is below 70% of the maximum load in one repetition. Failure is a point where the athlete cannot repeat one more repetition of the resistant exercise without help or reducing the load. Second, the athlete may go to a low number of repetitions from in range of 3 to 6 in one set till the failure to repeat the exercise with the weight or load that is very close to the maximum load or in one repetition. So it's a range of 85 to 95%. Number of the sets during one session may be from 1 to 3. While the rest time between the sets or different resistant exercises is about 1 minute. In time, the load is growing because the one repetition maximum load is gradually increasing. So we see how it goes. So you have to go gradually overload your body. So again, here at this table, we see high volume and high intensity, and it is not sustainable because it will lead to injury. But combination of high intensity and low volume is probably the best way to develop strength of muscles. Low volume means the total weight you push during the session. So and then next is low intensity, high volume. It is more relates to endurance training, and it gives also some flexibility to your body. Okay, so versus low volume, high intensity versus high volume, low intensity. What is better? So third, the bodybuilders are taking about frequency. That is how many times a week an athlete visits a gym. High frequency may include visiting a gym 2 or 3 times a day. Normally, a person spends more time in the gym in case of low intensity, high volume exercises than in case of high intensity, low volume resistant exercises. In the case of high intensity, low volume, the athlete may visit a gym 6 times a week with only 20 to 30 minutes duration for every training session. Fourth, the athlete may consider time to make every repetition in one set till failure is in as short time as possible. That is considered as fast repetition strategy. The fast repetition strategy is used mostly for low intensity, high volume resistance exercises. Otherwise, athletes can do repetitions intentionally slow, taken from 5 to 10 seconds for every movement. It is a slow repetition strategy. The slow repetition strategy is used mostly for high intensity, low volume resistant exercises to increase intensity and to avoid traumas. Okay, here we have some simplified presentation of that. It can be training volume, so it means total weight you can push or move along the session, during the session. Training intensity, it is how close you are getting to the maximum load in one repetition. So the closer you're going, the higher the intensity. And then training frequency, how often you are coming to the gym for exercises. Maybe 2-3 times a day for professional bodybuilders. A person has to decide what is the purpose of the resistance exercises. Is it powerlifting or bodybuilding? Powerlifting is often associated with high intensity, low volume. This is because powerlifters need to have exposure to heavier loads compared to most of other forms of training to develop maximum strength of muscles. Meanwhile, bodybuilders tend to train with mix of the light and heavy weights, but as their goal is hypertrophy, that is muscle bulking rather than strength or endurance, in time they are more likely to shift from low intensity high. That's probably wrong. They're more likely to shift from high intensity low volume to low intensity high volume. Okay, you see, so the best way to grow muscles is high intensity low volume, but it comes to some limit, and then you better change to low intensity high volume resistance exercises. Okay, it seems so that high intensity resistance exercises with a low number of repetition in the range of 3-5 and very close to maximum load in one repetition, so it is about 85 or even 95% in one set, as well as a low number of the sets per session. So it is exactly a definition of high intensity low volume resistance exercises. It results in growing more fibers inside the skeletal muscle cells. While low intensity, below 75% of maximum load or in one repetition, with a higher number in the range of 12 to 50 on repetitions, or this is definition of low intensity high volume resistant exercises, will result in increase of the cytoplasm, or it is another name in the muscular cells, it is sarcoplasm. In cytoplasm, volume of the muscle cells that contain very large amounts of glycogen. Therefore, muscles grow in size instead of improvement in strength. Okay, we see here the schematic presentation of the muscle cell. The nucleus and mitochondria are not presented, but what is important to see is that we have this sarcoplasm. Sarcoplasm, this is some gel-like substance, which is actually cytoplasm in every cell, and we have this fibrils, myofibrils or muscular fibers, and the structure of this myofibrils has striations. We will go to this subject in more details in next videos. And you have the sarcolemma. Sarcolemma is like a wall cell, but it is very special because it contains calcium ions, and it is responsible for working of the muscles, to stress them. In bodybuilding, there are proponents both of high intensity low volume as well as low intensity high volume of the resistance exercises. Professional bodybuilders as well as so-called gym rats who are regularly spending long hours in a gym would mostly recommend low intensity high volume strategy. Meanwhile, athletes who cannot spend longer than 2-4 hours a week in a gym would recommend high intensity low volume strategy. Indeed, these people can visit a gym 2-3 times a week and spend only 20-30 minutes on high intensity low volume resistance exercises plus some time on warming up, and yet they will enjoy quick progress in muscle bulking that is compatible to what the low intensity high volume proponents get. There is an opinion that different number of resistance exercises in repetitions of these exercises can be used for different purposes. Range 1 to 5 repetition results in strength and power of the muscles. 6 to 12 repetition leads to hypertrophy, and more than 12 repetitions to muscular endurance. Training to failure is a number of repetitions in a range of 25-35 with lighter weights is highly unpleasant and extremely painful, a lot harder than sets with lower repetition number and heavier loads. However, proponents of the low intensity high volume procedure or strategy with a number of repetitions up to 50 claims that such program helps to get high strength of ligaments and tendons, that is to avoid injuries. Consistency and persistence are important as the result of heavy work in the gym will become visible slowly. Bulking muscles depends on genetical heritage and age of a person. Therefore, it is impossible to give universal recommendations. Instead, athletes are encouraged to develop own strategy of resistance exercise and follow it. Also, it can be more productive to try different strategies and change from one strategy to another in time to avoid so-called plateau in muscle bulking. Okay, we see that it takes really long to grow muscles. In 2 years, only muscles are coming to some visible change of the body, so it is getting athletic. But yet more years necessary to build a body which is to norms of bodybuilding. Muscle strength grows faster than strength of ligaments and tendons. Therefore, combination of high intensity, low volume with high frequency of the resistance exercises. So it means getting to a gym 5-6 times a week may lead to injuries. Yeah, indeed. So you have to be careful because that's also it can result in overtraining. So it may be advisable to include endurance exercises like cycling, rowing, walking and running on treadmills and stair machines with participation of the largest muscles on legs mostly, while time for resistance exercise during a week can be shortened. Endurance exercises improve blood circulation, accelerate growth of ligaments and tendons. Otherwise, athletes with longer than 2 years experience may gradually shift from low intensity to low intensity, high volume resistance exercises and use higher frequency of the exercises. Okay, so this is what we see, frequency. Okay, pardon where it is. Oh yeah, okay. Okay, no problem. Just a little bit confused. Okay. The summary of this presentation is following. Muscles will grow in strength and size only if an athlete progressively overloads them. So you have to increase the weight to volume, this or that. And for a newbie in bodybuilding, the best way is to follow first the high intensity, low volume strategy because it is saving time. It gives a better feeling, so you're not tired, there is no aching in muscles, and your progress is really quick. But in about 2 years, the athlete physique gets to a point that strength of muscles is higher than strength of ligaments and tendons. Therefore, it is advisable to slow down and gradually change to the low intensity, high volume strategy. In conditions of better blood circulation and lower loads, a danger of injuries will be reduced while strength of ligaments and tendons will grow up. Okay, so we see that overloading, overtraining is bad. Overtraining actually harms the body, but overloading is the condition, progressive overloading is the condition to grow muscles. So you see how it grows. Okay, so first you have to gradually increase the load and to get very close to maximum load in one repetition. For me personally, bulking muscles is not a priority, but a part of my rejuvenation program. For this program, endurance exercises are even more important than resistance exercises. Therefore, from 90 to 120 minutes, I do intense endurance exercises in a gym with a rower and treadmill machines. And only about 30 minutes I do full body resistance exercises while following the high intensity, low volume strategy with short time intervals between the different machines. So as soon as I finish with one machine and up to 3, sometimes maybe 5 repetitions in a set, I move to another machine and try to get in this half of hour all the body, full body training. For my program, it is also important to do endurance exercises 5-6 days a week. Shorter time for resistance exercises allows me to avoid overtraining and to recover quickly. So this is why I can go 5-6 times a week. But it is, as I said, important to keep resistance exercises not too long. If I do it longer, then I have the symptoms of overtraining. For example, I cannot sleep well. And sleep is very important for to grow muscles. Okay, thank you for your time to watch this presentation. Please mind that I am not a medical professional, neither I experienced athlete. Therefore, my personal opinion cannot be used as medical advice. Instead, it is recommended to discuss the information provided in this presentation with your personal physician, which I never do, because actually the opinions of the medical professionals are quite strange. And as I am doctor of science, I prefer to learn about the subject, to read maybe some research articles, and we will discuss these research articles maybe in the next presentation. I want to make this presentation relatively short, that you will be not tired. Okay, see you till next time. Have a good day. Ciao.